Hey y'all, it's me again. To continue reading from my book, The Secret Lives of the First Ladies. Let's continue. Southern Belle. As First Lady, Mary Lincoln was a devout Unionist and abolitionist. Her best friend from the White House years till the end of her life was a former slave named Elizabeth Keckley, a talented seamstress whose creations were a treasured part of Mary's wardrobe. Mrs. Lincoln even invited African Americans into the White House as guests, including the great Frederick Douglass, the first presidential spouse to do so. But hailing from Kentucky and speaking with a southern drawl didn't put her in good stead with many Northerners. And based on Mary's southern sympathies raised during the Civil War, Mary's family didn't make things any easier on her. She had 3 half-brothers fighting for Dixie. It was a rather awkward situation. Mary didn't always handle it with the delicacy it required. When the Confederate husband of half-sister Emily Todd Helm died in the war, the First Lady actually draped black mourning bunting throughout the White House. Infuriating Northerners who spent a lot of time reading casualty lists from the front. Damn. Green-eyed monsters. Josie was a part of Mary and Abe's relationship from day one. Indeed, it very nearly prevented them from getting married in the first place. In January of 1841, Abe was laying picking Mary for a party. After discovering that she had left without him, he showed up at the party himself, only to witness her flirting with another student. An argument ensued, the courtship was called off, and Lincoln became utterly despondent. Only the intervention of mutual friends brought the two back together after a year of silence and separation. Yeah, like I said earlier, in the other part, me and Robbie. Holy cow. Are we actually even good for each other? No. I'm like, we love each other. I don't know. I'm so confused. Cash out. When Mary overspent the congregational appropriation for the White House furnishing within months of moving into the mansion, Abe lost his cool. It was sing in the nostrils of the American people, he felt, to have it said that the President of the United States had approved a bill overrunning an appropriation of $20,000 for flub-dubs for this damned old house when the soldiers cannot have blankets. He had considered paying the balance out of his own pocket, a threat that chilled Mary to the bone. She responded by selling off excess manure purchased for the White House grounds and by letting some match staff go to cut back on expenses. She even had the gall to petition the government for a salary when she began running the kitchen herself. The only time a First Lady tried to get her fingers into the government's till for services rendered. Not surprisingly, they turned her down. I mean, like, duh. They didn't know the half of it. Though Mary's infamous shopping excursions for gaudy clothes had been thrillingly covered by newspaper reporters, the fact that she wasn't paying for many of her purchases was largely a secret. As Mary ran up tens of thousands of dollars in department store debt, the president remained blissfully ignorant, immersed in the enormous burdens of his office. His assassination brought financial reality crashing down on Mary's head. Suddenly a widow with legions of merchants expecting pay, she would spend much of her remaining years trying to make ends meet. A problem that many women of the day in her situation would have solved by remarrying, something Mary seems not to have even considered. Another 2.5 years after Abe's murder, she inherited $36,000 from the settlement of his estate, but rather than make things easier for her, it seemed merely to galvanize her desire to create monetary security. She tried everything, selling off stocks, coaxing politicians and other influential folks with Abe's possessions. For example, walking sticks to create a retirement fund for her, and of course, aggressively petitioning Congress for a petition that she fully believed she deserved. But nothing highlights her desperation quite like the clothing sales she arranged in 1867 with the help of friend Lizzie Keckley in New York City. Mrs. Lincoln's second-hand clothing sale was billed as an opportunity to buy some of the foreign ladies' garish gowns at bargain price. Mary and Lizzie expected to make killing. They were way off. Virtually nobody showed up. I mean, like, why would they? No mama's boy. After Abe's assassination, Mary's relationship with her eldest son, Robert, began to deteriorate. He seems to have agreed with the rest of the world that his mother was difficult, unpredictable, and as time went by, weirder and weirder. To be fair, Mary tried to make amends. Despite her financial worries, she showered Robert and his family with gifts and even sold her Chicago pad to him at a bargain price. It did little to tighten their relationship. However, Robert grew truly in line with his mother's eccentricities as time went by. She was paranoid, sickly, delusional. When she ran naked one night into a hotel elevator, Robert decided that enough was enough. I did not know about that. To see that woman naked. He moved quickly. After hiring men to track Mary, he swore out a warrant against her on the basis that she was insane. In 1875, she was taken into custody and put on trial. Robert paid a handful of doctors back of his case, and before an all-male jury, Mary was judged legally incompetent. Even Mary's defense was sympathetic to Robert. He provided his mother's lawyer himself, a man who refused to call a single witness. Wow. Mary was consigned to an asylum in Batavia, Illinois. I think that's how you say it, I don't know. Immediately after recovering from a suicide attempt she made with poison, she proved her capacity for lucid thought by getting self-release in under a year with the help of Myra Bradwell, one of the most famous female attorneys of the age. Hell has no fury, ta-da, ta-da. And Mary went after her traitor son with a vengeance. She regained control of her property, cut Robert out of everything he demanded, and received every penny she ever gave him. Robert responded by joining the likes of William Herndon in publicly lambasting Mary as a profligate lunatic, and so it went. The awful irony is this. After settling a score with her son and getting Congress to award her a handsome pension, Mary is cruelly even the tally. Robert inherited some $84,000 from his beloved mother's estate. Oh my fucking Lord. Oh my God. What the actual effing hell? Oh, I need a laugh. Thank you. Getting into the spirit. According to an old story, Abe Lincoln once directed his wife's attention to an asylum that could be seen from the White House, telling him that she would end up there if she didn't master her grief over Willie's death. The boys' demise certainly had an awful impact on both Mary and Abe's lives. They were, by all accounts, doting parents who took more than the usual interest in their children's company. Abe bore up under the strain in his own quiet way, throwing his energy to winning the Civil War. Mary, however, reacted rather differently. Like Jane Pierce before, she became an avid spiritualist, believing that the souls of the dead walked among the living like gossamer beings who could be contacted with the right amount of effort. That effort, of course, was provided by quacks who had perfected the sleight hand necessary to convince pasties like Mary Lincoln that deceased persons were noisily trying to interact with them in a mysterious mode of communication that included tapping sticks and jumping tables. In rooms darkened to conceal the mischievous reality, spiritualists held seances in which elaborate fashion hoaxes, often performed with the help of a hidden colleague, made it appear as if spirits had come calling. Mary ate it up, and he would climb out dreams in which little would appear at the foot of her bed. Any hopes of Mary seeing through the shroud were dashed when a prominent Georgetown spiritualist claimed to define precisely what the First Lady wanted here. The AIDS canon was a bunch of selfish crooks who couldn't be trusted. Oh, and what vision! Surely Mary thought this whole spiritualism thing was honest, and she found plenty of fellow believers on her trips to Europe and embraced the cult for the rest of her days. Sadly, it was used as evidence against her in the court that ended up sentencing her to an asylum. Discerning men of education, like Mary's son Robert, apparently didn't think spiritualism held much water. I mean, like, I believe in the paranormal, not like Mary, but I mean, like, I do believe in the paranormal too. I believe that I have some gifts. My dead family members sometimes, from time to time, especially when I have to go through a very tough time, they come to visit me in my dreams. To tell me that they were okay, and you saw that too, didn't you? That there was something that was going by. Please tell me if you did in the comments down below. But anyways, yeah, I believe in the paranormal too, but I also believe in it logically. Like, there's gotta be like scientific proof along with it. You know? So, yeah. Comment, rate, and subscribe down below. And please ring that bell notification for, so that you can know when I upload. And please comment if you believe in the paranormal like I do or not. And tell me the reason why you do or don't. I don't really care if you do or don't. I just want to know if there are people out there like me. Okay? And if you're on TikTok, please like my videos and please follow me. And please pay for something on either my eBay and or Mercari. And if you want my username for either eBay or Mercari, comment down below too. Okay? Bye!